If help is 20 minutes away, your first aid kit becomes your life support system. Welcome back to Suburban Prepper. I'm a former combat paratrooper and flight medic with the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, and I served in Desert Storm with them. And I provide medical care under fire, again, with the Army National Guard in Afghanistan. I earned the Expert Field Medical Badge on my first go-around, and I was awarded the Combat Medical Badge twice, once in Desert Storm and again in Afghanistan for medical care under fire. I worked as an intensive care ICU nurse, and I now practice as a family nurse practitioner. So combat medic, RN to nurse practitioner. Before we build this kit, comment below and tell me, what do you carry in your trauma pouch right now? By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to assemble a purpose-driven, advanced first aid kit that protects the airway, stops life-threatening bleeding, stabilizes fractures, manages eye trauma, treats burns, combats anaphylaxis, and buys the minutes that matter until help arrives. We're skipping the gimmicks and focusing on field-tested gear you could build tonight. The average first aid kit is stuffed with tiny adhesive bandages with cartoon characters on them and small packets of ointment. This may look good on a store shelf, but the real trauma, those items are worthless. In emergencies, clutter becomes chaos. A poorly organized kit turns into a yard sale of scattered supplies. Seconds slip away, people bleed out. Let's reflect for a moment. If someone you loved was bleeding in front of you, would you trust the gear that you packed? Stay tuned, because in just a moment, I will show you the almost unknown tool that can stop bleeding when nothing else works. Let us fix this by building the trauma core your life truly depends on. We start with massive bleeding and penetrating chest trauma, because those two kill the fastest. Include 4 combat application tourniquets mounted on your body, staged where a rescuer can reach them quickly with either hand. You will also add 1 junctional tourniquet for groin or armpit injuries. You will add hemostatic gauze that contains kaolin for most bleeding, and hemostatic gauze that contains chitosan for patients whose clotting ability is impaired, such as those taking warfarin or those who are hypothermic. You will add compressed gauze for wound packing and 2 to 4 vented chest seals that allow trapped air to escape while preventing outside air from being sucked in. So you know, kaolin-based hemostatic gauze quickly activates the body's clotting cascade. Chitosan-based hemostatic gauze binds directly to red blood cells and platelets, and it forms a gel-like plug, which is extremely useful when normal clotting is not effective. Together, they give you options. But bleeding is only one threat. Trauma to the chest creates a silent killer, and that killer is pressure. When air becomes trapped inside the chest cavity after trauma, the lung collapses and pressure builds until it crushes the heart. This is called a tension pneumothorax, and it kills extremely fast. In just a moment, I will show you the simple checklist to recognize this before it is too late. You will carry 6 10-gauge, 3-inch quarter decompression catheters for decompressing a tension pneumothorax. Yes, I said 6. Lungs can reinflate and collapse again. Injuries may be on both sides. Catheters can clog or bend. Chaos destroys gear. Options save lives, including a small removal aid, so you can rip off the protective cap of the decompression catheter instantly while wearing gloves. Once internal pressure is controlled, we must manage what is leaking on the outside. You will carry 2 pressure dressing systems. The Israeli emergency bandage is fast, simple, and proven for rapid compression. The OLIS modular bandage includes an internal packing gauze, an occlusive sheet, and a pressure cup all in one, allowing you to treat complex bleeding without digging for separate supplies. Do not click away, because the next tool is the civilian's secret weapon. Jagged scalp wounds, avulsions, and deep lacerations gush blood. A hemostatic clamp allows you to bring wound edges together, create internal pressure, and buy precious time. This is an advanced tool. Only carry it if you train with it. Fractures can turn a stable casualty into a bleeding casualty quickly. You will add 2 moldable aluminum splints known as SAM splints. 1 full size and 1 smaller for wrists or ankles. Mold the splint to the limb, pad bony prominences, and secure the splint with 4-inch elastic gauze to hold it firmly in place. Add 2 triangular cravat bandages and 2 safety pins so you can build a sling and swath to immobilize movement. Stabilizing fractures early prevents bone ends from cutting blood vessels and nerves. Here is where most people get it wrong. Never tighten a splint or wrap so much that fingers or toes turn blue. Check circulation and sensation often. Trauma is more than bleeding. Suburban emergencies can create unique dangers. Burns are extremely common. You will add water-based burn gel, burn dressings, and cling wrap to protect hands and fingers and prevent webbing during healing. For eye trauma, you will add 1 rigid eye shield and 1 sterile eye wash ampule. Never apply pressure to an injured eye. Before applying any dressing, flush visible debris with a small irrigation syringe and sterile water. Clean water is fine too. Clean beats fancy every time. Trauma scissors, we also call them trauma shears, must be staged on the outside of your kit for rapid access. Believe me, clothing hides wounds. Shears expose injuries fast without twisting limbs or cutting toward vital structures. You cannot treat what you cannot see. Sometimes the airway becomes the emergency. You'll add 2 nasopharyngeal airways in sizes 28 French and 32 French, along with a packet of water-based lubricant, such as KY jelly, to assist insertion. If one size meets resistance, size down. Never force it. You will also add 2 oropharyngeal airways in different sizes for an unconscious patient without a gag reflex. Only use an oropharyngeal airway when the patient cannot protect their own airway. For metabolic collapse, such as low blood sugar, you will add oral glucose gel packets. If the brain does not receive fuel, the patient's mental status crashes rapidly. Add 2 electrolyte drink packets to stabilize circulation during dehydration or heat illness. Even patients who are not bleeding can die quietly. Cold blood stops clotting. A bleeding patient becomes cold very quickly, even on a hot summer day. Cold blood does not clot. This can trigger a deadly cycle known as the trauma triad of death. I've seen it. You will add 1 reflective emergency blanket, 1 compact wool blend blanket, and 1 reflective heat pad. Keep heat in the core. Protect the body's ability to clot. Illuminate to survive. Carry a compact headlamp with spare sets of batteries appropriate to the lamp you choose. Also carry a bright white light chem stick. Buy white because nothing about this is tactical in the suburbs. And keep at least 4 of them in the kit to mark victims and pathways in low light. To know if you're winning or losing, you need to measure something. Professionals measure. Amateurs guess. You will add 1 pulse oximeter with backup and spare batteries. And carry 1 manual blood pressure cuff and a stethoscope as your trusted measurement device. Keep 1 wrist blood pressure cuff as a quick check, but trust that manual cuff better. Bring spare batteries for that pulse ox and for that headlamp. You don't want to forget those batteries. Carry a portable radio with a charged spare battery and a paper map of your local area. Cell towers can fail. Networks jam. A handheld radio lets you call for help when phones do not. A paper map lets you direct rescuers to the scene. If you carry a GMRS radio, one commonly used channel for travelers or emergency contacts is 462.675 megahertz, otherwise known as channel 20. With transmit paired 467.675 megahertz and 141.3 hertz tone. It's not officially designated by the feds, but many users monitor it. For licensed ham operators, the common emergency calling frequencies include 146.52 megahertz on the 2-meter band. Always check your local repeater, your region's practices, and whether somebody is actually listening, because no channel is ever guaranteed to be monitored 24 hours a day. If you can, carry a rechargeable power bank to top off your radio or phone if the power runs low. Solar rechargeable is best. If you are learning something already, tap that like button so more family members can see this. Once you have controlled the life-threatening conditions, you must address pain and infection risk. Build a combat medication pack with items you and your medical advisor approve. A practical pack I recommend for delayed rescue situations includes acetaminophen, 500 milligram tablets, quantity 20. Take one tablet every 4 to 6 hours as needed, not to exceed 3,000 milligrams in a day. Meloxicam, a 7.5 milligram tablet, quantity 10. Take one tablet a day as needed. And that's for short-term pain. If you require broad-spectrum oral antibiotic for wound prophylaxis in austere settings, use amoxicillin clavinate, 875 milligrams, quantity 10. Take one tablet twice a day for 5 days, unless you're allergic to penicillin. If you're allergic to penicillins or fluoroquinolones such as moxicillin, the alternative is doxycycline. Doxycycline comes in 100 milligram tablets, quantity 10, taken twice a day for 5 days. For delayed rescue or respiratory infections, you could carry moxifloxacin 400 milligrams once a day in your advanced first aid kit. Cetrizine, 10 milligram tablets, quantity 10. Take one tablet for allergic symptoms. One anti-nausea tablet as advised by your clinician if indicated. Allergic reactions are common at suburban emergencies. You will carry 2 adult epinephrine auto-injectors, and if children are present, carry 2 child epinephrine auto-injectors. Never carry only one. One device can fail or be misfired. Time equals airway. Deploy without hesitation when indicated. And one more point most people ignore. You must have training versions of every critical tool. I keep a separate box of medical gear, used only for practice, and a dedicated training medical bag. So nothing that has touched a classroom ever touches a real patient. Use training tourniquets, expired gauze rolls, practice decompression needles, and old dressings to build muscle memory. A well-trained person with basic gear is more dangerous to bleeding than an untrained person with a $1,000 trauma kit. Train often, train realistically, and keep your real kit sealed for the moment that matters. Let us break some dangerous myths that get people killed. Myth: one combat application tourniquet is enough. Fact: you have 4 limbs, carry 4. Myth: chest seals always stick on sweaty skin. Fact: dry the skin first. Myth: burns need ointment. Fact: only water-based burn products are indicated. Myth: hypothermia only happens in winter. Fact: bleeding causes heat loss even in summer. Myth: owning a tool makes you qualified. Fact: skills must exceed gear. Here are rapid-fire survival tips to lock in your muscle memory. Gloves on first. Permanent marker tourniquet time. Tape the edges of chest seals. A headlamp means hands-free survival. Trend oxygen saturation. Oral glucose fuels the brain. Cling wrap prevents finger webbing. Keep the patient warm. Immobilize fractures early. Flush debris before packing wounds. Expose injuries first with trauma shears. Warm the casualty even when the air feels warm. Practice skills often. Put it all together. And have a kit capable of surviving delayed rescue. Preparedness is not fear. It is responsibility. Tonight, you transformed a convenience store first aid pouch into a true advanced first aid kit capable of controlling massive hemorrhage, relieving collapsed lungs, stabilizing fractures, treating burns, protecting vision, trending vital signs, managing allergic reactions, and surviving delayed emergency medical services. You are now operating in the top 1% of prepared civilians. Before the final checklist, I need to say this once. This video is educational only. Check laws in your area and consult a medical professional before carrying medications or performing advanced medical interventions. Subscribe right now so you never get caught unprepared. Again, share this video with one person you would protect. Download the free Suburban Prepper Trauma Checklist at suburbanprepper.com. This is survival. This is resilience.
This is Suburban Prepper.